You're listening to Talk Commerce. Subscribe and download at talk-commerce.com.
Welcome to this episode of Talk Commerce. Today I have Ashley Stanford. She is the founder of Ice Cream Social. Ashley, go ahead, do an introduction for yourself. Tell us your day-to-day role and maybe one of your passions in life.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that quite yet. I was just explaining to Ashley that I have a new little box and I hit the wrong button. I meant to mute myself, but no, go ahead.
Even better.
Maybe that should be my intro for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, in the future.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Brent, for having me. Also, I am loving your t-shirt, giving very fiery aloha vibes. So, appreciate it. As you mentioned, I am co-founder of Ice Cream Social, which is a social referral widget meant to turn all of your customers into influencers for your brand. I also work for a company called TicketSocket, which is a white labeled ticketing and events registration platform. And the reason I mentioned that is because it was, really my work through TicketSocket, which I work with our TicketSocket clients to support them in their marketing initiatives. Everything from just getting basic analytics set up to maybe supporting in strategy and even executing social advertising, email, SMS campaigns. And working with my clients there, that's where we found the need for what is now Ice Cream Social. I had some clients that were, just kind of struggling to make the dollar work as much as it used to back in the day. And we were looking and brainstorming for ideas of, what can we do to sell more tickets without spending more money. And that is where Ice Cream Social was born. It's really meant to activate that word of mouth marketing in a digital world.
That's great. And what about passions in life?
Passions. Well, as we were chatting earlier, I live in the beautiful Orange County, California, right here near the ocean. So one of my favorite things to do is in the mornings, go watch my son at his surf club, and lots of beautiful hiking here. Love doing that. And, you might not believe this, but I like to read a little bit.
Yeah. I was commenting on. Is it you Are you cricket or is your bookshelf cricket? It's a good view. I am also I'm going to say aspiring surfer, a very poor surfer. I really want to. I want to learn how to surf, and I took lessons on a very big board, and then I bought some Jerry Lopez. I think there's 7 or 8 foot boards, and I'm really struggling now. So maybe I should come to Huntington Beach and take some surf lessons. But everybody tells me I just should buy a bigger board.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those bigger floating boards help. We are Surf City, USA. If you didn't know, the song that the Beach Boys sing about. But anyone who gets out there, I give it to you, because the ocean is strong and unpredictable, and it's a little scary if you ask me.
Yeah, I have a stand-up paddleboard as well, and I'm perfectly okay on that.
Yeah.
I did learn how to stand-up paddleboard in the ocean, and that was hard. I summer in Minnesota, which is full of lakes, and they're all flat and very few waves. But anyways, Ashley, before we get started, you have volunteered to be part of the Free Joke Project, and all I'm going to do is tell you a joke, and all you have to do is say, should this joke be free, or do you think at some point we should charge for it? Or as we talked earlier, maybe this is a 1 scoop joke or a 3 scoop joke. And so here we go. I'm going to tell you the joke.
Okay.
A lawyer walks into a bar and asks, "Is this where I take the exam?"
Oh, that's the joke.
That's the joke. All right, this is great.
I'm not great at getting punchlines. It'll click for me later in the day. I'll be like, oh.
Yeah. So the lawyers have to take a bar exam.
Oh,
They have to pass the bar. I know.
Okay.
I apologize. That was a particularly bad joke, but I appreciate the response.
It's still early here, and I'm still drinking my coffee.
It's 7 a.m.
Where you are.
We're at 7 a.m. here. The sun just came up. Good. Hey there, it's Brent from Talk Commerce. As an entrepreneur and podcaster, I'm always looking for ways to share my message and connect with new audiences. That's why I was thrilled when I discovered PitchDB, the ultimate tool for getting booked on podcasts, speaking gigs, and media outlets. When I first tried PitchD, I was blown away by the results. I had a 100% response rate from the opportunities I pitched, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to connect with relevant hosts and planners. With over 3 million podcast opportunities, 148,000 event planners, and 31,000 plus media outlets, and 11,000 conferences at my fingertips, I felt like I had struck gold. What I love about PitchDB is how it streamlines the entire booking process. Everything is organized in one place, and I can easily search for meaningful opportunities, directly connect with decision makers, and reach engaged audiences. The integrated portal, ready-to-use templates, and seamless functionality make pitching a breeze. If you're an entrepreneur, speaking coach, or author looking to expand your reach and make a bigger impact, I highly recommend giving PitchDB a try. Head over to pitchdb.com and see for yourself how this incredible tool can transform your booking game. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. So Ashley, tell us a little bit about how things have changed, especially in the entertainment and in the event industry since COVID started, since COVID.
Yeah, COVID has been an interesting time in events. You know, obviously, at TicketSocket, when events weren't happening, we really had to shift. And that's where we really peeled off Ice Cream Social from being a feature inside of TicketSocket to being its own standalone company. So while, COVID has been a downer, that is kind of a silver lining that I like to think about. And as events came back, maybe 8 or 9 months later, some outdoor events were able to kind of, start figuring things out. And there was a real surge, a demand for events, and sales were beautiful for about 6 months. And then they started to tank again. And what I'm finding, there's three things in particular that I'm finding with events and marketing right now. One, you have to be smarter with your budget than ever before. And I'll just give one quick tip, maybe. One way of doing that, and we can dive into more detail later if you guys are interested. But one way of doing that is before you ever go on sale for your event, you really want to create a lot of buzz and create a lot of leads. Get the names, emails, phone numbers of people who are interested in going to your event, because the cost to acquire those leads are pretty nominal. Depending on the event, you could pay 50 cents a lead, you could pay $5 a lead. Now, the cost to acquire a customer is so much more expensive. So if you have a database of leads before you ever go on sale, it's going to help bring down your overall cost per acquisition, which is going to help your event be more profitable. The second one is you have to get your timing right on marketing your event, which goes back to just being smarter with your budget. Nowadays, it is difficult to compete for people's time. It's not just about competing events, it's about time. And I've noticed people are also not planning ahead as far as they used to. And part of that is because there's so many options. So, people will buy tickets more last minute, more so than ever. So you want to make sure that your budget is split in a way where you're heavy on the peaks of your sales cycle, and you're not just spending money to drive sales during a time where people aren't going to buy. And this one's a given, and it's not exactly marketing, but it absolutely affects your marketing. You need to put on a great event. You need to have a great track record, a great history. And what I'm finding is a lot of events that used to sell really well, let's say like fun runs, they're struggling right now. And it's because we're really shifting events into being something so much more immersive. Your event really needs to activate, all five senses. And really, you got to think about that and think about adapting to people's attention spans, social media, all of that.
I think one of the things you said earlier about how the virtual events were the thing, and even the big event promoters thought maybe in person was going to be done. My experience now has been, I'm so tired of online events. I want to go back in person. And I was at eTail West this last week in Palm Springs. It was I think it was the biggest one they've ever put on, and it was so great to be in front of so many people again. Why do you think like some events are growing, like some of those industry specific events, and then other ones are really dying off? Is there a shift in how people are doing it, or is it just how the events are put on?
A little bit of both. I will say, if you have the right audience, things like e-tail, things that are educational, it allows you to educate yourself, which is a huge trend right now in this, what I would still call, I know it was kind of like a trending thing for a while, this whole gig economy. But I don't think that's going anywhere. To me, that's kind of been my whole career. And I think people are catching on to that. So anything that, values education and networking, uh, people find value in. And I think if the event's put on right, has a great track record, which of course eTail does, things like that will do well. But some things, they need to evolve. They need to grow. You can't put on the same exact event for 10 years and not think that you can just stay stagnant. You got to keep up with, what people are interested in.
Tell us a little bit about Ice Cream Social. I will say that I've been involved in Magento community events for almost 15 years now. The social aspect of it, I think, was much more in tune 10 years ago. Are the social aspects of being at event changing now? And how should an event organizer leverage social?
Sure. I mean, you have to be on social or people just don't even think you're legitimate. And social is honestly tells a better story. A lot of times you can go to an event's website, but you're getting like a one-sided story about what the event is like, where if you have social media, you can see more of it. You can see, the reactions on people's faces. It tells a better story. It's more engaging. So yes, social is such a vital role in event marketing, and honestly probably any kind of marketing. And Ice Cream Social, while it is a social referral tool, what we're trying to do is, gamify word of mouth marketing in the digital world. Now, I'm going to say something a little controversial, but an influencer does not need to have any social media. An influencer can be just any person. And that's what we're trying to help events realize and activate within their customer database. They have a large customer database that is not posting their whole life on social media. That's actually probably a smaller percentage. Of course, a lot of people are looking, but there's really not a lot of people in the grand scheme of things that are just posting all the content. If I think about, my circle of people, I probably have a handful that are posting everything happening in their lives. And so the idea is facilitating a way, giving people the tools that they need to share an event with people, yes, on social, but also in SMS and Messenger, things that help facilitate that share without social media being needed. Because I work in social media every day, so I'm not super active in promoting my personal life in social media. That's just not my thing. But I'm talking to friends and family all day long on my phone. And so you don't want to leave that group of people out, because honestly, it's the majority of your customer base.
Yeah, that's such a good point. That sort of, and I know some of the new events we've had, the WhatsApp channel or the WhatsApp group that gets created
Mhm.
before the event is such a great
Mhm.
driver on making sure that what's happening during the event gets conveyed to the other event attendees.
Oh, for sure.
Um, and then sort of that direct approach where individuals are going even in DMs to say, hey, have you seen this event or have you seen that
Yeah.
event? How that helps. Is there strategies that are changing now since COVID, or from a social standpoint, or are the same strategies working that worked 10 years ago?
You know, I'd have to say strategy is one thing, and that will always work. Most people approach their marketing without a strategy, and that's where they fail. Now, the things that are ever evolving, of course, are the tactical things. And one thing that I do notice a lot of event marketers doing, or I'd say event managers who are wearing a lot of hats doing the marketing themselves. Because if you have someone dedicated to marketing, they probably understand this. But a lot of event managers might just, say, I'm doing Facebook ads, but my event's not selling. I don't get it. Maybe I need to spend more, or maybe my event sucks, no one wants to come, or maybe Facebook ads just don't work. And that's not the case. You really want to approach it holistically and think about all of the possible marketing channels. So, your organic social, your paid social, your search, your SMS, your email marketing. And you really need to make sure that they work together and it's a cohesive strategy. Yeah, it's a lot more work, but having all those pieces work together, play together in the sandbox nicely, it is going to drive sales tenfold rather than you doubling down on one or two marketing channels. And it's going to make the cost per acquisition for customers lower because it's just that idea of all boats rise with the tide.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, especially about partnering with other with your marketing service and with your other sponsors. Talk a little bit about how important it is to have um, not only those partnerships in place, but maybe your sponsors help you with that strategy of getting the word out. And from my experience, it's been that a lot of sponsors don't when they pay the money, they're just figuring that the organizer is going to take care of everything. As an
Mm-hmm.
organizer, how do you get the sponsors to help participate in that?
Sure. So I would say, and this requires a lot of planning, proper pitching, and not kind of shoot from the hip. I need a sponsor because I need funds for my event. But you really want to think about, we'll call them strategic sponsors. You want to think about sponsors for your event that very much align, has very similar raving fans of people who would like to come to your event because they're going to have a captive audience of the exact people you're trying to reach. So, first and foremost, I would think locally. Uh, for most events, a lot of events that I work with, they're traveling events. It's the same event, but they're in a new city every weekend or every 6 weeks. And so you want to think locally, because they're going to have the local market of people who can attend. So, one, do your research, your homework on local if it's happening in a city that you're not involved in. Plus, the local community appreciates that. Anything you can do to help drive business in the local community, it's great that you're bringing all these people to the city, but how can you also help that community in a way that's going to leave an impact where they're going to welcome you and want to help promote your event every year? I've talked to some people in certain cities where they're upset because events will come in and they'll leave and they don't do anything to support the community and they leave a mess, and you don't want to be that event. So first think locally and then think about the products and things that your customer base loves and align with them. You need a deal that's going to work for both of you. It's not just, hey, we'll let you pop up a tent in our event and we'll throw your banner on an email that goes out. Like, that's just not great value.
Do you recommend to event organizers that, especially on those strategic partners, that they double down and help them on those marketing items where you would take on some of that for them
Oh,
in terms of
absolutely.
social or whatever that is?
Yeah. I mean, I've done this a lot with both sponsors and working with like influencers or celebrities with a brand. You want to make it so easy for them to help you that we give them a whole package. Hey, here's some pre-written social media posts customized for each platform. Here's a folder of images. Here's a blog post. Like, here's everything you could possibly need. Here's some pre-written emails. Feel free to wordsmith it so it fits your brand. But hey, we want to make this easy on you. So, like, here's a whole package to help you.
Tell us a little bit about you said gamification, and I know that like one of my early events, we would do who can do the most tweets, and I'm a very voracious in line tweeter. So as I'm listening to a speaker, I'm able to like take shorthand notes via tweets, and I would always win not always, but I would often win the tweet contest because I was so good at it. Is that gamification thing still in play?
I think so. First off, I think that's a brilliant idea for a B2B event. So kudos to whoever came up with that. That's great. I think, yeah, any kind of activity you can come up with on site an event that creates social content, because really that's the whole reason someone's doing that. It's creating social content, it's getting their name and brand out there on the internet. So it might look different for B2C events. So maybe you have a really great display. I like to say, like, your event needs to be Instagrammable. Like, you have to have these moments at the event that people want to post on Instagram. So maybe it's as simple as having those and letting people know that, hey, post it with this hashtag. And, you know, within 1 hour after the event, we're picking X amount of people to win a gift card or whatever the case may be. You do want some element of gamification in it. Ice Cream Social does that through rewarding people. So, one example might be, hey, if you get 5 friends to buy a ticket and come to this event with you, we'll give you a full refund. And that creates an incentive for them.
Yeah, that's great. So the referral thing and what other things have you done around social media to gamify it? Like I said earlier, there was always a board up. Then who would have the most tweets would win. Actually, we didn't win anything, but now that I think about it, we just got the pleasure of knowing that we're the first. We're on the top of the leaderboard. But having a I don't know, and actually, this is more than 10 years ago, but I bet the organizer wasn't thinking in terms of, hey, that volume of hashtags out there is going to bring more people or more awareness to the event. Do some event organizers look at that during event as is too late to get people? And I guess the follow up on that is, hopefully, there's going to be a next year, and you want us then to kind of lean into that and use some of that for later throughout the year to keep people interested.
Right. That's the mindset you have to have for that kind of engagement on site is you got to think about next year or even, yeah, I guess like e-tail, it can probably held in different cities, different years. So no matter where you're going, you still want that content because that content is going to help feed your organic social content for the rest of the year. I honestly can really only speak to leading up to the event because I'm just focused on sales and not so much once the event starts. But one thing that we do for, adding that layer of fun and engagement pre-event is we'll usually do a big opening night on sale. So when I say opening night, it's not opening night of the event, opening night of tickets on sale. So I mentioned we'll, do a lead generation campaign. We'll collect thousands of leads leading up to the day that we're going to go on sale. and we make a really big deal about going on sale. So, one that I did recently, if we'll go on sale, let's say in the evening. I usually like to go on sale on like Monday nights at 8 p.m. What we'll do is, in that first hour, you get the cheapest ticket until they're sold out. Sometimes we sell out of the cheapest ticket in 8 minutes. We'll do things like anyone who purchases opening night, they go into a raffle, and we give away things like we gave away a Peloton, we gave away a hotel stay and like a gift card to a restaurant in that city that we're going to, close to the venue. That way they can make a whole like night of it. So we do things like that will help drive sales. Just because I'm sales focused when I in the marketing that I do. So we'll do fun things like that as well. And it
Yeah,
works.
well, I love that. And those are great ideas. Hopefully, I get this into a format that we can use the little snippets of what you just said for social, because honestly, I think that's great. And we've done like we've put on these Meet Magento events, and we did that opening night thing. But I
Mhm.
love the idea of having a raffle if you're part of that, and then do gift cards as part of that raffle. How about if you as an organizer, you put on this opening night and you don't sell out all those tickets that first day or second day, how can you kind of how do you kind of keep some momentum going? Do you like come up with a new day in the future where you say, okay, here's our second opening or something like that, or you word it as, hey, or maybe you have a sponsor, say this is sponsor day, and there's so many gift cards available during this day that you can be in line with winning.
Great question. So, uh, with the clients I work with, we have a formula, and if sales are not where they should have been on opening night, oftentimes we'll cancel the event right then and there. Usually we'll open within a time period where we haven't, yet fully paid the venue fees and all those things. We'll open. And if it bombs, we know there's not there's not room for us in this city. The city is not our target market, or this event, there's just not the interest we thought. So I'm pretty confident in my opening sales strategy. And if it bombs, oftentimes we'll pull the plug, because we just know we've carried on before, and it is a very stressful sales cycle, and it doesn't work out. If we're borderline close, maybe we didn't meet the goal, but we know we can, still do pretty good. There are different strategies that we'll do. I try to stay away from the Walmart pricing, where we just kind of roll back pricing here and there and have these sales. We try not to do that, because then that upsets people who bought the whole incentive of buying on opening night, getting the best deal. So we don't ever put another deal on that is better than what they could have got on opening night. We might do some flash sales, like sometimes we'll do like a lunch, like a lunchtime flash sale, or like something random like that. But the one thing that we do to continue to keep those little spikes of sales going is essentially oftentimes price bumps. Prices are going up on this date. You've got 48 hours, or the ticket price is going to be this. So that, yes, it's you see it a lot, but it is effective. The only time it's not effective is when you should have pulled out of that market, because sales are going to be a struggle the whole time, anyways.
Do you think some events look at the attendance as maybe a smaller attendance sometimes is better, and maybe their initial goal was already too big, and the event could be put on in a fashion that's maybe smaller and more intimate that makes more sense?
Yes, that before you go into this and like going on sale, you need to know your numbers and you need to know your goals. Um, because for the events I work with, if we don't have a strong opening night, it does not make sense to carry on because they're not going to make up the revenue in other places. And you just have to have that mindset. Some events, you could almost give away the tickets because, once you get the butts in the seats, when they're there, they're going to buy. It's kind of like, I don't know, traffic and conversion summit. You still buy tickets to go, but when I'm there, I'm also like throwing my credit card on stage, spending way more money than what my ticket cost. So in cases like that, it depends on the event. You need to know your numbers, but you need to know that before you go on sale.
All right, so last question. Every industry has specific events. How do people find out about events that are maybe touching their, like you've mentioned traffic conversion, but there's so many events that intersect with other events. Is there a good way to find out about maybe a sister event or event that, like if I'm in the e-commerce business, maybe a marketing or SEO event would be also relevant? Is there a good way to, as both an organizer, to know these events are happening? And does it make sense to partner with some of those? And then as an attendee, sometimes it's hard to know about all the different events out there.
Yeah, I don't have a great way. I mean, I rely on them to market to me. If you want me to go to this event and it's going to be awesome, you need to be targeting in the right way that it's going to get me, because I get great ads that are very relevant. So you got to know how to market. As far as teaming up, I mean, it is important to have an idea of who your potential like competitors are, even if they're not direct competitors. Like, it's kind of competing. People probably aren't going to go to, both in 1 year type thing. You do need to understand who those people are. That's part of your research when putting on an event before you do your marketing, because what you don't want to do is go into a very similar market to them around the same time. Maybe if you still want to put on your event, do it on the other side of the country and do it a different time of year type thing. So you do want to be aware of any kind of competitors. If you can find events, I do help some of my clients find complementary events where maybe we can share resources like email lists and help promote each other's events, because we do go to the same markets, but not at the same time. And we have similar audiences. So if you can find those kind of complementary events, that's great. Maybe they could send out an email blast to their database saying, hey, we love this event and you should get a ticket. You could give them an affiliate link and they could at least get paid for that. So for sure, it's definitely something you should put in your marketing strategy.
Ashley, I know we've gone through our 20 minutes. As I close out, and thank you, this has been a really interesting conversation. As we close out the podcast, I give my guests a chance to do a shameless plug about anything you'd like. What would you like to plug today?
Ooh, I would say definitely check out icecreamsocial.io. I know, not .com, it's .io. So if you're looking for us, that's where we are. Or you can visit ashley-stanford.com to learn more about me, Ice Cream Social, Ticket Socket, and all the fun things I love.
That's great, and I will make sure I put those in the show notes. Ashley Stanford, the co-founder of Ice Cream Social, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Brent, for having me.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis, LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.